Okay, welcome to Daily Pick a Card Tarot Reading for August 19th, or whenever you are watching this. You can see which of the cards I lay out speaks to you. I already shuffled a bunch and I was doing one just for show you how I usually shuffle, but got a little messy there. Okay, so we're picking 3 cards for today, and that one's probably not, yeah. So you can see which of these 3 cards is speaking to you, or watch the reading for all 3 cards, and I'll have my interpretation for each card, but listen to whatever the card is saying to you. And if you have an interpretation that's different, I would love to hear it in the comments below. So let's get into it. All right, our first card here on the left will start. Ooh, we have 14 Temperance going on, so you can see what speaks to you in the imagery. We have, it's pretty psychedelic looking, where you got kind of like, this looks like angel wings on the side there, and almost like owl wings on the inside, and either some sort of weaving, or it almost looks like a big anthill. So usually this card has an angel pouring mixtures back and forth, but I'm not seeing that in this imagery, so I'm trying to see what's coming from that. But what did come to mind was just thinking about a really well cooked meal, and how some meals can be really good when you make sure all the ingredients are put just right and correctly with each other. And so that's kind of what this feels like for me today. There's a lot of symmetry going on in this card as well. So I think taking the time to make sure that what you're putting together, it could be projects or what's going on in your life, is maybe savor today how good things can be when you take the time to put them together, you know, when your awareness is on the moment and doing the moment right. And then you can really be in the moment with enjoying that thing later as well. So maybe slowing down a little bit in terms of where your mind is at. You can keep doing everything you need to do. If you got a bunch of jobs, you can keep on doing that, but your mind doesn't always have to be on the next thing. You know, you can slow it down by being with what you're doing, and that's not saying, you know, you have to sit down and like nap, or you have to go and meditate. It's just like, no, just come into what it is you're actually doing and feel that sort of energy boost you can get. Okay, if you chose this card, second card, we've got 7 of Rods here. Okay, and this is usually sort of around, the imagery is usually of someone who's almost like, looks like they're gonna be, or they're trying to fight off a whole bunch of people. But for this guy, you can see behind him, there's nothing behind him, so there's nowhere to run to. And it feels more to me like this guy is just holding on to this, dangling over a cliff or something, rather than like he's actually gonna do much with this, you know? Like if you're holding it up like that, I mean, maybe that's a good fighting position, but I don't know. The look on this fellow's face looks pretty zonked for sure. So the thought that's coming to me is that maybe what feels like an offense coming in or feels like an attack coming in, maybe these are just offers for help. Maybe these are opportunities. You're maybe holding on to a passion or something that's just allowing you to hold on, but it's lateral or it's stagnant, and it's been good to keep you alive, but it's not the thing that is going to pull you forward. And you've got so many things, and maybe people for a while, or opportunities have been coming up for a while for you, and you've been like, not today, maybe not this one, but eventually you may be feeling at a point, or someone around you is at a point where you may have been helping them or wanting to help them, but they've been unwilling to reach out. But there will come a point where you'll be like, hey, am I just going to hang on to this my whole life? What kind of a life is it to just be hanging on? Is what I'm here to do? Am I here on this for this short time on earth just to hang on to what's comfortable? And sometimes we need that, but eventually just like, man, I got to change it up. And you'll see these again as not something that's offending your ego or anything like that. It's like genuine, different support. And you've got so many choices, maybe overwhelming, but ultimately you just need something that's going to pull you forward, and any of these are going to pull you forward. So, and you can even hold on. You can hold on to this, reach out an arm, give it a tug, see how solid it is, and let it pull you back up. Okay, if you chose this card, we've got 10 of Cups. Oh, this is a nice day. All these cards have been upright, and this is looking beautiful. So we got rainbows coming out of the cup. That almost looks like more than 10. Is that more than 10? 4, 8, 9, 10. No, it's 10. It's 10 cups. Okay. Yeah, so the first thing that came to mind looking at this was honestly, it was I really like the colors of these rainbows. I love the rainbow there, but all this white space is kind of blah a little bit. But that is feeling to me like it could be kind of a blank slate, and it's also a focus that these two are up and personal. Usually, at least the original 10 of Cups is sort of a family. They've got the farm, they've got the land, their kids, and they're looking off into the distance. But this is feels almost like the prelude to that, where maybe you've just met someone, or you're just connecting with someone, and you're seeing, and that could be your mirror image, that could be yourself, but you're really starting to connect with people, or today can be a really good opportunity to connect with people, which, our animals are great, pets are awesome, but the wildness that you can really get from an interaction with another person is something that I think may be really important to discover, because there's a certain safety with your cats and your dogs and your pets that is really nice, but your dog isn't necessarily gonna be like, hey, let's go to France, so like being open to connecting with another human that brings you into an excitement and amount of joy in this life. They've got a blank slate, but they've also got, each of them has got the person that they love the most right in front of them. And that's all they need. And you can bounce back and forth into what this future is going to bring. And if you're not feeling like that with the people in your life, give it a try and really listen and being open to them and give people space to be genuine and allow yourself to be your genuine self, because sometimes that opens up sides of people that you didn't think were there. And if you are able to open yourself up and be who you really want to be, you'll see how they are really quickly. And if it's important to find someone who mirrors you or people who mirror you better. All right, we're looking at all the cards together now. We had Temperance, we had Seven of Rods, and we had 10 of Cups all together. Everyone is right side up, which I like. And we got some interesting different vibes going on. So we've got Temperance, which is usually kind of like feels more watery to me, but here in this image it feels like it is meant to be more about emotional temperance, sort of like calming down. This feels pretty static, this one here, and almost sad. And this Seven of Rods, usually sort of about standing up for what you believe in, but this guy's looking pretty sad, and like he's just holding on to kind of the last straw, and these are more opportunities. And here there are two people who do look like, they look kind of zonked out, but they're that close. I imagine they do actually like each other. And this blank background kind of is saying to me that either they've got a lot of potential for things to build, or the only thing that really matters to them in the moment is each other. So this is all blank back here because they're not seeing the landscape, they're just seeing the person in front of them. So the sort of thing that just popped to mind is, looking at this card, it feels like don't live in a fantasy. And when you're not living in a fantasy, living in a fantasy is like living kind of in the future, living in your thoughts of what can be, what you want to be, but you right now are at a point that you want to be in the past, that you want to be at in the past. And ultimately we want to be, for most people, probably enjoying life, and the fantasy that you're making in your mind is wanting to live in that fantasy. So this is feeling like be here in what you're doing. This one is feeling like being here is going to allow you to see new opportunities, and it's going to allow you to see people in your life for how they really are. So, if this angel is seeing themselves from a fantasy perspective of what can be, then they're not seeing how amazing it is to be an angel. It's not necessarily, well, I don't know about angels, but if an angel can live in a fantasy world, then they can be not satisfied with having these wings and all these capabilities and things like that. So when you're living in a fantasy state of mind, you're not able to really savor what it is to do right now. So, take new opportunities, keep moving forward. You have a blank slate to create on, but make sure that when you're doing something, that you're doing that, trust that you don't always need to think of the next thing that you're going to do. You can have a plan of what you're going to do and all that, but like the whole thing when you're washing the dishes, just wash the dishes, just be there with that, just feel the water. It's not really gonna necessarily help you to be actively thinking while you're doing that. So why not enjoy that warm water? And then oftentimes really interesting ideas pop in your head anyways. So yeah, being in the moment, seeing the people will allow you to see the people in your life and see if you really like them or not. Will allow you to see opportunities in your life, and can maybe sort of awaken some appreciation for where you're really at. But sometimes that takes, winding back from the fantasies and being real with where you're at, which sometimes isn't exciting. It can be scary, but will ultimately lead to a lot of richness and a lot of rainbows, because you're a rainbow right now. So that pot of gold can be accessed instantaneously by just doing what you're doing. So yeah, I hope some of those messages have resonated with you. Again, if you've got any other messages that came up for you, please share them in the comments below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.